1, 2, 3.
Thank you. I take that as support, not just for me.
For X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show, and the tag team champion of the world over here.
He shall address me as such for the rest of the program.
Okay, that's fine. I am your host.
There'll be no way to stop him short of
Destroying him, we will find another way.
I think we should go with option 1.
There is no other way. Skelhorn Pone. And with me, as always, is my co-host.
Just leave me alone! I wish I could.
I wish I could, buddy, but whatever. Joseph McTondre.
That's right. I had to reach. There's not that many people in this episode. There's
Yeah,
like 6 characters in this episode. I don't even get yours. Who are you?
We'll get to it. Well, I guess I could show you right now.
I say we nail him.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
and by the way, when he was tossing us around, where were you hiding?
Back off, corn pone.
That's right.
Back off, corn pone. Skelhorn Pone. That's all I got.
I like it. It's pretty close.
Sam's been waiting a long time, Andre. Do you have anything to say to the X-Goons?
I have commitments outside of this podcast that sometimes require me not to be here on time.
Especially since he's been tag team champion of the world.
Well, I mean, of the world implies that I defend it across the world. If someone wants to hire me to go defend it in another country, me and my tag team partner, absolutely. However, yeah, on Saturday, me and Chris Cook, collectively known as The Tradition, won the New Breed Wrestling Tag Team belts. So this is them. It's upside down. Old School Hunter Myatt, classic Chris Cook, The Tradition. So there you go.
I was gonna say your championship belts sound great by a microphone.
Do they not? Are they just blanging away? It's a lot of chains and metal and
clang, clang. Yeah. I don't make that sound on TV.
Just clanging around here and just get the noise in there.
Oh my god!
I can retire this over here for now. But yeah, very exciting. Me and Chris won that. A very barn burner type of match. It was very good. So we defeated Rough Country in the main event on Saturday. Is Murphy still here?
No.
So he's only here for like 2 days and then gone?
The weekend. He left today.
Oh, I should have followed up. I did not have any time.
Yeah, well, it's all right. We got together and had a drink.
Nice. How's he doing? You guys yell at each other about movies for 2 hours? That seems like what I'd imagine you guys do when you get together.
We don't yell at each other much in person. But, yeah, well, congratulations, man, on the championship.
Thanks.
And on the new kitty. Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty adorable.
Yeah, man.
Although I'm a little
new kitties are the best ones.
Concerned tonight. Lebowski had to go to the vet and they had to keep him overnight, so I'm feel worried about him. I think he's fine. They just need to get a sample of his urine, so they have to hold him there until he pees. But it's just sucks. I don't know. I feel bad for him. Hopefully he's not too worried.
Yeah, really. Poor Lebowski.
You poor little guy.
Oh man, freaking kitties never ends.
I break your heart, man.
You will. But yeah, hopefully the X-Goons haven't lost all respect for me from last week. I'm back. It was my birthday. Did I mention we're here to review Season 4, Episode 12 of the X-Men animated series, Proteus Part 2, written by Luann Crocker, directed by Larry H.
Larry H. Did you say?
Yeah, Larry H. The Lair Bear Houston.
Lair Bear Houston, I like it.
But yeah, so why don't we just get right into it since the first part of this two-parter. If someone was wanting to listen to it as a full story, well, maybe we'll do a little quicker episode tonight because the last one was like, I don't know, 3 hours long. I don't know. We
It was
went on
pretty
for a
long.
while.
You repeated yourself a lot.
What? That's interesting.
I liked how you brought up was at one point, and then you brought it up again twice, and then like I reminded you that you did that point already, and then you fought with me that you definitely didn't do that point already. And I'm like, all right.
Well, I cannot confirm nor deny.
Oh
any
no,
of
it's good.
this.
It's all good. It's a fun time.
But yeah, let's get into it. Oh wait, that's me. I do the thing.
you sure do.
I remember now.
I remember.
That's all. Where am I? Oh, that's a shame. All right, here we go.
Previously on X-Men.
Well, it must have been this.
He's down there somewhere. They can't stop me. I'm going to find my father.
He's going to find his father. Andre.
His father.
His father.
I like your Irish accent. His father. That's funny. His father. Yeah, it's a lot of great Irish accents in this, I must say. I still think Kevin's might be the
It
best
made the
one.
episode a fair bit more enjoyable. What?
I still think Kevin's might be the best one.
Yeah, probably. Though I do there's some good stuff of Joe here.
Oh yeah, Joe does have quite a few pretty great Irish isms in him as he goes along in this episode. Scottish isms in him as he goes along in this episode, which is pretty funny. But all right, so let's get to the episode. So we find ourselves right after basically the end of the previous episode with Logan collecting himself while sobbing like a small baby because his molecules were torn apart and then reassembled by Proteus. The X-Men.
Oh my God, I gotta stop doing that.
You got it? I can do my best Logan
I'm
impersonation.
fine. I don't need your help.
And he just goes to a tree and starts like crushing it. It's like, I'm fine. Ah!
I don't think we've ever seen Wolverine puke before, but he's giving her hell over there by that tree.
Yeah. Well, Morris have said about what happened with Proteus. Xavier comforts her basically. Beast comes forward with a suggestion.
Luckily for Wolverine, that was the puking tree. That's where
the puking tree
was to do that. So it's all above board.
Well, as we all know, in Scotland, there's a particular type of tree that you're allowed to puke by. It's called the Pukatonic tree. The what?
The alder tree.
Yes, also known as the Pukatonic tree, depending on who you speak to. The alder tree. Only alder trees you can puke on. Yeah. So Beast suggests they perhaps go find Joel McTaggart and use him, protect him because that's where Proteus is heading. Xavier says a shot from there is his protection, and Moira says he won't accept it. But Xavier is nonplussed. He's the least of our worries, basically, because they're concerned with Proteus. We see him kind of almost like he reminds me a bit of the way he travels as Iceman. There's like the little he's shooting behind him, and there's like a beam of distorted reality that he's sliding on.
Yeah, is that what it is? Is he sliding on distorted reality?
Well, I mean, what else would it be? I mean, it's kind of strange to me. Like, why would he even have to do that? Literally, reality warps around him. Why doesn't he just fly?
I guess that is what he's doing, kind of. He just looks like.
Why go through the artifice of making the little slide trail behind you? It's like a slug making a slime trail.
Lad on the way up, Maeve. I think we should save Wales. In the whole of Britain, if that's what it takes.
Oh, you don't get the rest of that?
Yeah, walking down the street.
Do you have the end of that conversation?
No.
She says, you'll have a better chance than you will get further that way and you will get with me. And she so it's kind of fun watching some, I guess, early 90s or mid 90s Irish hipsters at a college sort of discussing about Irish politics and what's going on in the world. There's one guy's trying to Scottish politics. This one guy is trying to appear quite hip to this lass, but she will have none of it basically. So as she leaves,
She
him
was
behind,
too hip a lass for him.
yeah, she's like, yeah, that attitude will take you far, but with me, it won't take you very far at all. And then, like, leaves him behind. So he's just sitting there, kind of sad that he's not getting any tonight. And then he's possessed by Proteus. And as the X-Men are combing the streets looking for him, Wolverine's overcome with panic when he can sense that Proteus is nearby and can smell him. And then he points him out. Basically, Proteus sees that they're onto him and takes off. They follow him and get into a bit of a skirmish inside some castle ruins, or maybe a university. It's kind of hard to tell where they're at exactly. I'm guessing it'd be the university, because it seemed like these were college or university students that were. So Proteus drops the bot.
Yeah.
Do we know where he is?
Political rally. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so it could be. There's stuff that looks like Notre Dame's in Ireland, but it looks like kind of like the architecture of that building. So, or no, France. Notre Dame's in France, but it kind of looks like
Scotland here.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I'm saying. That's like it doesn't seem like it's the right spot. Yeah. So basically, they try to reason with him, saying that his father doesn't really want to see him. He says you never gave him a chance, and then they get in another bit of a skirmish, in which he starts warping reality around him, turning the ground into water. Wolverine kind of rides on some logs and slices some debris as it falls down. You get Wolverine surf on here.
Pretty good.
And if Heaven does reach Joe, he's going to find out that Joe left me because of him. Joe didn't want a mutant for a child. It's going to make him crazy.
It's gonna make him crazy. So it's funny because I'm just letting the episode play in the background while I'm discussing what's happening, and you time that perfectly with the scene because I just got to that part. So we're in sync tonight. All it takes is an incredibly overextended Andre and a late start time, and we're on sync for some reason.
Well, luckily for you, I sat here for an hour and a half syncing up.
Good job. I was driving. So Proteus possesses a police officer, and then goes about his way trying to get his way towards his father. We see the X-Men. The X-Men reasoning with more, trying to reason with Joe to accept their protection. He says he doesn't want anything to do with them or this kid. He says, tell the kid that
tomorrow. There are cameras everywhere I go. I don't want people to remember I'm divorced.
And he says, let alone that I have a mutant for a son. So, which is hilarious. Like, this is really a product of the time. Like, the fact that it's number one, he doesn't even want to admit he's divorced. He's hiding that from the public, that he was married before.
Because he's running on family values.
Yeah, I mean, all his posters have his new wife and his new kids all over them with him. So it's kind of, even at one point, Proteus sees a poster where he's possessing one of these people that have Joe with his wife and two kids on it, and he's like, "Who are those kids?" like
that's where he gets his next destination.
That's true. Not a genius, I guess, is Proteus, but Xavier wants.
Well, they say he's like a young man, but like has the mind of a child.
Yeah. Well, Joe, they want Joe to talk to him. Joe says he won't. He can't do it because he has this big thing tomorrow. The camera's going to be all on him. He says, tell the kid that Xavier's his father. Moira wanted him to be anyway. And, it's a pretty dark question.
Yeah. You always wanted it that way.
Well, guess we learned something.
Yeah, but Moira defends that, saying that he's just, being whatever. But anyway, so the Proteus, oh, wow. Yeah. Do you ever freeze like when I pause this sometimes so it doesn't get too far ahead of me when I'm talking about the episode? I just pause it and I don't want people to think I'm some kind of sex-centered dude that's always thinking about this. But there is a point where he walks up to Joe's house in the security guard outfit and uses abilities to melt the door away, and the walls are like flesh colored. And when the door melts away, it makes basically a very vaginal looking thing right where I paused it. Like it looks. I should screenshot this and send it to you. I don't know if I'll do this.
I'm gonna drag this show down into the gutter, Andre.
I don't mean to, but sometimes it's overtly there. And like you look at this and tell me that I'm being crazy. So anyway, I'm gonna do clip this so I can send it to you while I'm talking. But anyway, basically, as the cop, he goes through Joe's house, sees some kid, just misses some kids playing, so he doesn't really encounter them. But he steps out of the room while Joe's other kids are running around. As he looks through the building, he comes across. Actually, no, he does see the kids. He just hides in the wall. But then he goes up through the ceiling. There's a lot of really interesting psychedelic sort of imagery here with like all the way he's warping reality and stuff, which is kind of cool. But he's looking around for his dad, doesn't see him. Then notices the campaign poster with the kids on the wall and where he's going to be doing his thing at later. So he decides to go there to find the truth and confront his father. But when he warps through the wall or makes a hole in the wall to escape, Joe's wife kind of sees him leaving, drops a book in fear, which is kind of interesting, but not really relevant because she doesn't show up anywhere else in this episode. Like she's only in this one little bit. So
political campaigns are designedly made to paralyze what slight powers of cerebration man can normally muster. James Harvey Robinson.
I have a point about that later.
Me too. We might have the same.
It's probably this. It's definitely the same one. But it's Beast just shutting out all the the kids in the 90s watching this totally picked up every word that he just said and understood what it meant. I know he's supposed to sound smart, but he's also supposed to sound smart in a way that kids could probably understand what he's saying. No kid understood that. Most adults probably wouldn't understand
its audience, and that's why it holds up.
It doesn't, but
Speaking of holding up,
are you holding up okay, Logan?
Yeah, it's weird to see Xavier use a colloquialism like holding up. It's not something that, I would expect that character to say.
Logan, holding up there, bud?
Yeah, how you doing there, buddy? A little upset? Your molecules got ripped away and then repurposed in a way. I'm sending you that picture, by the way. Repurposed in a way that, didn't seem weird, messed you up. Well, before we got to that, we saw Joe talking to like some kind of political fixer that he has. Saying that he needs him to add his protection. He doesn't want to use Xavier. The guy seems like kind of he got a purple coat on with a bow tie, but he seems like a bit of a thug. He's also got a cane. Then he says like, "Well, how much damage can one boy do?" Basically, while Rogue is sort of watching from a distance in the vents. She says she needs to get a shower after watching this guy because he's so slimy. Can you get that picture up there? Or does that take like a lot of work? Yeah, look at that. If that's not a vagina,
I see a door. I don't know what your smutty mind.
Put it back up there, and
I see a door.
Tell me that is
a door.
Oh, is it? Is it clearly a door, Davan? Have you seen a vagina before?
Yes.
Well, then you cannot tell me that is not maybe a. Well, I mean, if something was
You've
burning
seen
away,
childbirth. I've seen.
Oh God, you're a stronger man than I.
Well, there you go.
So, Joe goes to the rally. Basically, starts talking to the people that are there to cheer him on and support him. Wolverine's there in the sewers, monitoring that entrance in his little Texas garb. Beast is off in the corner reading that book that's blurred out, which we'll talk about later.
He likes children if they ain't his.
Which is a pretty great line. And that's one that's often like...
She's like, I know all about that. And she says...
Oh, yeah. And then we get a clip of her dad, like, being an asshole to her all the time, like he was in the past.
God, you're a mutant. I think you're a disgrace, and I don't want to be seen with you.
I love when they show those flashbacks.
Check out my American flag hat. It's nice.
Yeah. Nice. I love when they show those flashbacks. He's always wearing an American flag hat. He's got the beard. His shirt doesn't go all the way down. It goes to about here, so you can see his belly. And he always he has a pack of cigarettes rolled up under his sleeve.
Oh,
that's fine. Very classic.
That guy was a legend. A legend.
Yeah, not a legendary father, but a legendary
Simply
something.
not.
So Proteus possesses one of the thugs that are kind of put there to look after Joe. I actually want to save that other point I had about Rogue as one of my points for later. So stop it.
You find that distracting, don't you?
I do.
Right. Well.
It's an animated vagina right in my face. I mean, so basically, Proteus descends upon it to talk to his dad. Joe runs away. Logan has a panic attack and can't face him. Basically, runs out of the room, but then doesn't get too far, has a change of heart and comes back. The
set of claws would be extraordinarily useful right now.
Ain't going anywhere, Beast.
Beast almost falls into a pit.
So Charles tries to reach out to him telepathically. He floods the place by warping reality. The X-Men try to save him, but then he makes a hole like in the ground with fire, and then slants the room, and Xavier falls out of his chair and almost slides in. Wolverine comes back and tries to save him with his claws, but just before he's going to be dropped in they rip through his jacket, and before Xavier's going to drop into the pit, Moira comes in to save him, who's been there as well. But Xavier tries to reach out to him telepathically. He rejects him basically and storms off again, going after Joe. So
My father wants me! Get out of the way!
And Wolverine's they're on their way to Joe basically to try to stop Proteus again. Rogue confronts Wolverine for running away, and then Beast mentions that we nail him.
What are you talking about? And by the way, when he was tossing us around, where were you hiding?
Back off, cornpone.
I like when Rogue and Wolverine get into it, because she's the only one who's not afraid of him. She's not really scared of him at all.
Yeah, but this is like actually some interesting character stuff on Logan. This is probably the most scared he's ever seemed in this show ever.
Paralyzing fear.
Yeah.
We have all experienced it, but it must be even worse for you, who has never felt it before.
You saying I'm a coward, blue boy?
No, the opposite. He's saying you've never felt fear before.
Which is funny because literally when he's getting an argument with Rogue, he extends his claws, and then right after that, Beast says this, and then he extends his claws again. So like it's just like his go-to move to show that he's angry is extending his claws.
My father wants me! Get out of
Oh my god. Stop, Proteus. Get out of here. Stop warping my soundboard's reality.
It is obviously Proteus doing something.
We'd say
so. Moira
last
ran.
week. That wasn't me. That was Proteus.
Oh, yeah. Proteus was hammered. Okay. Just nodding. Yes, Proteus. So I did forget to mention something during that last altercation with Proteus. Moira ran off, saying that she had something that would work against him, but she was afraid to use it. Basically,
Moira feels responsible for Proteus' actions, and she's gone to do something. She may try to destroy her own son. You know what that means to her? To me?
Yeah,
Andre.
A lot of emotion here for Xavier.
Oh man, he's a lot of good voice acting from Cedric Smith in this
one. Mm-hmm. So Proteus sort of finds where Joe's next big thing is, basically where he's going to be talking to what's it like? I don't know Scottish politics very well. I guess like the council. Is that the way to describe it? The Senate. I think he's just talking to some kind of political body because a bunch of them are in robes, and I feel like it's a ceremonial kind of thing.
House of Lords.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Is that a Scottish thing? Yeah,
well, it's Great Britain now. They're part of Great Britain.
Yeah, they are. Anyway, Proteus once again depends upon his father and tries to get answers from him while the press are taking photos and whatnot. But he
Lord Skelhorn Pone, they'll call me.
He wants security to help him. He runs away from his son, basically, which is kind of destroying Proteus that his dad has anything to do with him. Wolverine kind of overcomes his fear a little bit and manages to attack Proteus, but get dispatched pretty quickly. But then Moira and Banshee show up with this device that they've created that can, in low levels, can...
An attack, he says. McTaggart was victim of a vicious physical attack. An attack, he says, was instigated by his opponent, Bill Watts.
Oh, yes, I forgot about
That's
that.
Hilarious.
He throws his opponent under the bus saying he tried to attack him.
It's a giant monster.
Bill Watts. He sent the giant monster after him.
It's clearly the Liberal Party is sending giant monsters after me.
The far left liberals, the libtard cucks over there.
My father wants me.
And then it's like, oh my god. But then, like, the reporter goes on, and he's just like, and the opponents deny it feverishly, but
Yes,
but how can we know?
The Scottish Fox News. We have no way of knowing the truth, so let's just speculate for 2 hours.
Exactly.
For having me here tonight. Of course, after this afternoon, I'm thankful to be anywhere tonight.
Just making jokes about all this, man.
Consummate politician, always using everything to his advantage.
A slick customer.
If you don't like Xavier, maybe you can talk to me.
So as Proteus sort of has a bit of a tantrum and starts destroying the building, Xavier takes one last, says before, like Samara shows up with Banshee. They have this device. They say on a low level, it can quell his powers.
It's
But
that
on a high
sonic
level, it could
device again,
possibly
the
kill
sonic
him.
therapy device.
Yeah. So they're going to use it. Xavier says, "Let me try one more time," and reached out to him telepathically. Says, "Possess me, like I'm a doctor. I can help you. Control your abilities. Possess me and see what I'm capable of." Basically, so he does, and then they have a little discussion in their brain, where they see each other and talk, and Xavier manages to reach out to him. And
I've come to help you face your rage, and face it you must. Possess me as you have others, Kevin.
Great, kind of possess me, Davan.
Face it you must.
So basically, he depowers when he's talking to Xavier. In a complete 180, Joe has a change of heart after seeing all of this and says he's sorry and hugs his son, which is totally in left field.
Son, was that you? I didn't know,
like,
even though you were telling me constantly, and you calling me father.
No, he knew it was him, but like until
you.
he powered down and just looked like a human, then he could deal with him, which is like even worse to me, it seems. It's like, when you were, he showed him that he was inside the energy construct before. But it's funny because then Joe and him hug and everybody takes photos, which means like it's this nice little photo op about he's a family man hugging this kid, which is probably going to help this idiot get elected. That's how much faith I have in the political system. But anyway, we jump forward to seeing Kevin working on controlling his powers with Banshee with some help from Xavier back at the Mirror Institute. So we get a nice happy ending that Kevin is controlling his powers and learning to use them in a good way, which is a far cry from what happens in the comic books.
Whatever Chuck did in there, it worked. I don't know how he faced that thing. He never loses his cool.
Forget it, hon. In our business, we all get shook up every now and again.
I don't.
I don't.
So this is a big Wolverine episode in a way, which is
because it leads to the next one.
My father wants me.
Oh my
Get
God,
out of the way!
Proteus.
Do you have any hotkeys like set up on that so that when you hit a button it plays something? Because
yes,
you can't
but
just
I'm not
play out of
never
nothing.
touching a button.
Do you have some kind of thing that like hits buttons based on words you say? Because it just happens in such strange
I don't know
ways. I don't understand it.
I don't either.
It's your system.
I can find nothing online to explain my issue to me. So, we live with it for now.
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
Decide, Andre. Decide.
Well, sir, I don't think this. What did I rate the last episode? Do you remember?
I think we both gave it 9s.
Like, I like the imagery of this one, as far as like all that stuff goes, but I don't think it's as strong an episode because it's kind of like I feel like this did need to be a 2-parter. So I'm gonna give it like a 7. I did like the imagery of Proteus. I thought there's some cool stuff with all that. But I just feel like this one just seemed like they had him interrupting 2 press conferences that his dad was doing in the same episode. It just seemed a little padded. So
yep, I would agree with you with 7. There was some good Xavier stuff. Some kind of interesting themes about parenting and some great Scottish accents. But yeah. And some, and a bit of Wolverine and Rogue Zone in there. It's not bad, but 7 for sure.
Okay.
Not as good as the last one. All right, Uncanny X points. Here we go. Well, my first X point. I won't steal it from you. I'll let you take it.
No, you go ahead. Actually, because do you have any more reasoning as to why it was?
So you're talking about this, I take it.
The blurred out book, yeah. I know what the book is.
Blurred out book. Yeah. No. Do you have information on why it was?
No, I'm not sure why, but you go ahead.
Well, it was okay. The book is The Making of a President, 1968, which was a series of books that were just like biographies on presidents. Like I think this one, the 68 one might have like who's it have like Jimmy Carter on it or something, the cover. Anyway, I was looking at it. That doesn't seem right. It's too early for Jimmy Carter. But anyway, so they're just like biographies on presidents, I think. Or maybe novels based on that. But yeah, Making of a President. Now he was talking about political themes, so it's just Beast reading up on fancy politics books, I guess, in a political episode. That's all I can gather.
But like that, I'm
Why
guessing
it was
they blurred it
yeah,
out
in
for
the
a
original
reason.
US just in the original US release, they blurred it out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something controversial in that book, but I couldn't find it.
Or it could just be maybe like there's a rights thing that the rights are owned by somebody and
they just don't want to chance it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, my first point would be Rogue's comment about how they like kids as long as they're not their own. Which is funny for that character because he has 2 other kids, but is like a very common phrase for like Republicans. So like, they defend the right to abortion, but also don't seem to want to give money to low income single mothers or the people that have to deal with the children that they're forced to have in this system. And they say, well, you guys, they like children until they're born, basically, is like a standard Republican, like a thing that people would say about the Republican idealism of like, every life matters. It matters until it's born. And then, well, they don't really want to pay to support it because that's communism. We don't want that. So anyway, I just find that very interesting that I think it's sort of probably a liberal-minded writer, as most writers usually are, tossing that into a kid's show. But also, it's a salient point, especially in the modern day society, and sadly, some of the things going on south of the border. Don't want to make the show political, but
Well, it's a political episode. All right, back to me. Wolverine being afraid. We've seen this before in the comics, though. The villain of his who really causes him fear is Cyber. Remember Cyber?
I do.
Big metal arm.
I liked his design. Very 90s design, but I always kind of liked his design.
It was interesting. He can release like a fear toxin, and that always worked on Wolverine. So, yeah. So we've seen Wolverine be afraid, but it's not Proteus. It's Cyber. He has adamantium arms. Very scary.
Only the arms, though, right? It's not the rest of them.
Yeah.
All right. So next point. What was it? Oh, yeah. Interesting. Like, I mean, obviously this is the kid show. It reminded me a bit of. So in the comics, when Proteus possessed people, he burned their bodies out and they died. Right. They didn't just, pass out and then wake up fine later.
Yeah, exactly.
So I always find it kind of funny when they have to for these kind of shows.
Well, I don't think they all died.
A couple of them were just maimed or
drastically. Yeah, like people possess mutants and they wouldn't die.
Oh, really? Okay. But he didn't possess. He only possessed one mutant in this episode, which is Charles. So, Banshee.
Banshee.
Who was like in a coma. So
but he's Irish.
Yeah, but like he was in a coma for a while after he was possessed. So it's like, he's messing up these people's lives pretty well. But it reminded me a bit of the Batman animated series because the Joker had the gas, laughing gas that would laugh yourself to death. However, in the cartoon, they couldn't kill people. So they would just have these people be stricken with this like almost rigor mortis style grin that took up their whole face with their eyes like bug out. And they looked insane, and it looked way scarier than just killing somebody. Like it looked like they were just stuck laughing or like frozen with this grin that took up their whole face, almost like that movie Smile, the horror movie that came out this past year, and way more terrifying than he's cute. I'm missing Lebowski. I'm just worried about him sitting at the bed. I hope he's okay.
Andre, he's missing his cutie.
Yeah, he bited
missing his cutie.
So I hope he's okay. I just worry that he's scared in there.
I don't like it.
But yeah, so I just found that interesting that they in order to save kids from the concept of having to deal with these people dying, they just gave them something way more terrifying to be afraid of.
Yeah, really. All right, back to me. Okay, this is weird. Just a weird scene at the end is extremely weird. So like Kevin's basically, I don't know, what is he, like 18 or 20? They call him a young man, maybe 16. But it's just weird when Joe has this change of heart and it's just like, oh, Kevin, he picks him up and he carries him out of the building.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
It's
like the bodyguard.
Picks up their teenage son and is just like, let's go, son.
We'll always love you.
He ain't heavy. He's my brother.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought that was kind of strange as well.
All right.
I got a package in the mail when I arrived, so I was just seeing what that was.
Oh, very good.
What was my other point?
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think this is the last piece of Wolverine for a couple episodes, right? Because he goes off to find himself based on what happened in this, and that episode doesn't happen for another 2 episodes. So,
that's 2 episodes away, right? Because
I'm assuming he's not
Witch one, and then Bloodlines first.
Yeah, we have Family Ties and Bloodlines, and then Lotus and Steel, which is the Wolverine's how Wolverine got his groove back episode. I will refer to it as.
And Weapon X Lies and Videotape.
Yes, which is right after that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. They have 2 Wolverine-centric episodes so close together.
And then the 4-parter season finale.
Beyond Good and Evil. Yep. Lots of time travel.
We might have a special interview to break that up.
I mean, we are, aren't we? Isn't that confirmed?
Yeah, I didn't tell him the date yet, though.
Oh,
okay. I haven't worked that out in time. But there's lots of good stuff coming here at the X-Men animated.
It's a good time at the old show here.
It is. Did you do your point? That was your point?
That was my point. Last right, say goodbye to Wolverine for a couple episodes.
So you may or may not know this, Andre. But in Greek mythology, Proteus.
I definitely know this.
What? You heard this?
I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it a couple times. In the same episode last week. That's very clever, very fun. For those paying attention,
back to you.
Those who missed that's a cop out, but I'll take it because it's hilarious. That's like what you said. That was the point you said twice last time.
It is. I went back and did some research on myself.
It's all good, man. I had a good time. I don't remember getting drunk on my birthday, but I should do that next time. That'd be funny.
I remember getting drunk on mine.
I remember at one point I was like, well, I'm drinking too. You're like, well, you're drinking too. And I'm like, yeah, I think I hold my alcohol a little better than you. And you're like, no, you don't. You're like,
I'm a legend.
Yeah, I'm a legend. Like, all right. Well, I also weigh more than you. And that figures into it. But
that's what Murphy said. He's a mite bit bigger than you.
Probably. Well, how much you weigh? Not to get too personal.
Much. Probably like 160, 170.
Yeah, not quite 100 pounds on you, but probably about 80. About 245. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, that was good. That was really good. Very funny. So Proteus also, the way I love how they give him this happy-go-lucky ending where his father and him reunite and he gets to control his powers and everything's great and he's good with his mom and his soon-to-be stepdad and everything's happy. But like in the comics, him and his dad both die. So, it's just such a... I mean, I'm sure he came back, but the first time around he died fighting Colossus. So, it's I love the candy coated veneer that these cartoons I know they're trying to pay homage to the original and also like honor the source material, but also it's funny when they have to go away the other way because it's a show designed for children.
Back to me. So you may or may not know this, Andre, but
shut up. You have to say something this time.
All right. This time I will. So
you son of a bitch.
That quote that Beast did earlier. Well, I might as well play the quote since we got to talk. Where is he?
Political campaigns are designedly made to paralyze what slight powers of cerebration man can normally muster. James Harvey Robinson.
Info beastism there. So James Harvey Robinson wrote The Mind in the Making, the relation of intelligence to social reform in 1921, which was a big book in its day. So that's what Beast is quoting there.
Oh, yes, that's very, very good. All right, my final point.
Right.
So this is episode 12 of season 4.
Chiz.
The last we saw Cyclops was episode 7.
What?
Cyclops has not
Some
been
leader of the X-Men.
He was not Nightcrawler. He was not in One Man's Worth 1 or 2 or Proteus 1 or 2. Jean Grey's
Wolverine and Rogue, hasn't it?
Jean Grey's even less. I mean, we saw flashbacks of her in Xavier Remembers, but she didn't do anything. And I think I think was she in Sanctuary? I don't even think she was in the Sanctuary episodes.
I don't think she was either. No.
So yeah, she hasn't been. I don't think she's in the season. Maybe the Juggernaut Returns or Deal with the Devil. She in Deal with the Devil, the one with the Mega Red.
Deal with the Devil. No.
She hasn't been in very many episodes of the season at all.
Oh wait, or is she talking to them with the sub?
Oh, I think she was actually. It might have been last time we saw her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I know we get a lot of Cyclops in the Beyond Good and Evil, but
well, we likely will. He better come back and lead the team in the 4-parter.
Well, it's about.
Hey, check this out.
Hey, check this out, our comic reminiscences and recommendations segment. All right, so I happened to recall I do have another sort of Proteus story. So there were 3 annuals.
I don't know if you know this, but in Greek mythology, there's this character named Proteus. No, I'm kidding. It's Proteus. Go ahead.
Proteus. So in Uncanny X-Men annual number 15 in 1991, and Uncanny in X Factor annual 6 and New Mutants annual 7, there's the Kings of Pain. Look at this reality warping shenanigans.
The Kings
Look at
of
the
Pain.
poor Blob there. Poor fella.
Oh, he's getting all fucked up.
He is. So AIM is trying to recreate Proteus for their own nefarious ends. And so they end up doing that, and this character ends up being called like Proteus 2. But look
Electric Boogaloo?
Poor fella. There's poor Proteus.
They call him Proteus 2?
No, they call him something else, but he's just essentially Proteus.
Wasn't just Proteus
Daltz or something like that?
Wasn't it Proteus's like mutant power? How can they make another Proteus?
Well, they did it with like a bunch of genetic shenanigans.
So they had like his genetics from the previous one,
and then they used like Cerebro to even get like his brain. Like it's AIM. They had a bunch
they'll never save your brain, Hitler.
But then they end up killing Proteus 2 in this episode, in this issue. So
Electric
Kings
Boogaloo?
of Pain. Check it out. Yeah, the Electric Boogaloo.
Sorry.
Kings of Pain. No way.
All right. So mine is.
There's one scene too, though, like where Moira storms into the AIM lab, and she's like, "Oh my god, look what they're doing to the child!" And like one of the New Mutants is like, "It's like no different at all to what you were doing to Kevin." And she's like, "Oh,
I don't want to think about that."
Sick burn, yeah.
So next up, we get my recommendation, which is a bit of a literary one. It's based on one of my favorite books. It's a classic, and if you like the works of this guy, you're definitely familiar with it. If you don't, and you know books in general, you may as well. But Ryan North, who's a fairly prominent Canadian artist and writer, did a lot of work for Marvel on Squirrel Girl and some other books recently. Did
Lower Decks, the comic.
That's right. Great work on Squirrel Girl. Great writer. He has a book too that's called like a Choose Your Own Adventure Romeo and Juliet book, which is pretty fun. But
right here.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. It's in my library as well. I didn't bring it out because that's not what my choice is. It's his comic book adaptation.
Does yours have a heart that says "Choose Your Own Adventure"? Do it.
Oh, that's great. Although mine does have a plate, a book plate signed by him in it. So this is the literal, the very literal translation and only comic book adaptation of the.
Do you have a penis drawn by Chip Zdarsky?
I do not. But my choice is Slaughterhouse 5, the Ryan North's adaptation. If you like the book, I love the book, as I do. It is a very, very good version of it. Like, they did a fantastic job. It's very well done. Captures the humor and the severity and the beauty, the human and the intelligence of Rob Vonnegut's writing very well, as long as some beautiful cartoonish imagery. A good friend of mine and former guest on my podcast, Troy Little, was trying to do this adaptation a while ago, and I'm so sad that he didn't, but I'm happy that this guy did because it's very good. But there is a signed plate portrait of Vonnegut here in the inside cover.
Very cool.
Yeah, classic. Very good.
Check out anything by Ryan North. Really.
Anything by Kurt Vonnegut as well. Fantastic writer.
There you have it. All right. Moving on. Making good time here to make up for last night.
Sorry. I feel like this is like the general speed our show should be normally. Like, it just isn't, but it should be. So I thought long and hard about this one, and by that I mean I went in my library of movies and just grabbed something randomly. Not really random, because I saw it
hard. Just get your mind out of the gutter on this.
Show that picture again.
Never stops with you. My God.
That's a vagina. You know it. I know it. Everybody's ever seen one knows it.
You don't know what doors look like in Truro.
They certainly are shaped like vaginas. They're usually rectangles. Not ovals with fleshy bits around them. So I saw this movie and I thought that actually applies, because the whole conceit of Proteus is that he possesses people and makes them do things and takes over their bodies without them being able to control what happens to them. Now, this is a cult classic film, mostly because it's sort of terrible, but also kind of genius in a really weird and fun way. I'll put it up there with The Room, and one of those movies that you're like, this isn't good, but it's fun. And in the end, isn't that good? So this movie is called, and it has one of the craziest opening sequences in a movie I've ever seen. It's like a 15-minute fight. So this movie is called Ninja 3, The Domination. The Domination. And it's about a woman who works for she's an electrician for a power line company. And in the opening of the movie, a ninja assassin kills a businessman while he's playing golf in broad daylight in the middle of a golf course. It's like noon. And he's like, this ninja shows up, kills this guy. And then like the next 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, 15 minutes maybe, is the ninja trying to escape while police and guards all come after him. And he's like running around, blowing up helicopters, hiding in water, killing people left and right. It's amazing. But in the end, he finally gets his. But before he does, he manages to transfer some of his spirit into this poor linesman woman that finds him. And throughout the movie, his spirit possesses her, and he gets revenge through her body on the people that killed him. He's not a good guy. The ninja wasn't. But she's just sort of wrapped up in this story, and she has to track down other ninjas to help her, exorcise this ninja spirit from her body. So it's like a kung fu movie mixed with a possession movie, mixed with an action movie, mixed with kind of a mystery thing. It's a very strange movie, but man, oh man, you'll have a lot of fun watching it. So check it out. Ninja 3. I don't think there's a Ninja 1 and 2, but Ninja 3, The Domination.
Of course not.
If there are, they're unrelated to this one.
Or are they?
Oh, want me to read you the back? This will do.
No.
Aerobics instructor Christy Ryder, who is best known from Breakin' 2 and Breakin' Electric Boogaloo, becomes possessed by spirit of an evil ninja when she comes to his aid after he is shot down. Dominated by the killer's vicious and relentless rage, she sets out and brutally attacks his enemies. Her boyfriend, confused by Christy's changing personality and afraid that he might be her next victim, enlists the help of Yamada in a life-threatening exorcism and ultimate fight to death. Yamada proves that he is Christy's only chance for survival. So there is 2 movies that Yamada is listed as: Enter the Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja. So I'm guessing this is probably the third one, Ninja 3, The Domination.
What were you doing? Playing with matches?
All right. Well, I'm just talking about movies that may be underappreciated. I liked the movie The Phantom with Billy Zane.
Ooh, I was talking about that movie tonight. That's a great movie.
Interesting. So, yeah, Phantom 2040 for Super Nintendo. I remember loving this game. I rented it a few times, and it's really fun A lot of like wall crawling and swinging around on ropes and stuff, and he's got gadgets. And I remember having like chill music and like kind of just relaxing visuals. Not super fast paced, but
I like chill
a
music
fun
and
game.
relaxing visuals.
Yeah. One I definitely want to revisit sometime. Check it out, Phantom 2040. All right, making real good time tonight.
Sure.
So let's do a quick.
You want to see what I got? I got this.
Yeah, sure.
I got some Saks underwear. I got these ones and these ones. And they sent me
my shorts.
They sent me a free gift. They spent over $100, so I got 2 pairs of Saks socks. And I got a Saks sweatsuit. I got for jogging. I got a hoodie and a pair of sweatpants. They're all from the sale section of their site. If you like Saks stuff, just go there because they often have pretty good stuff in there, and it's way cheaper than buying it normal. It's still a bit expensive, but if you like their stuff, it's a better way to go.
Expert casting. All right, so here's what we're gonna do, Andre. You're gonna cast Proteus in the MCU, and I'm gonna cast Banshee. Stop folding your laundry.
I'm thinking about it. I think I'd rather go. No, I'll take Proteus. I got to think of a kid, an evil kid. He's got to be Irish too, eh? And he couldn't have been in the Marvel. Oh shit! And he couldn't have been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe before.
Well, preferably not. Yeah.
Well, because if I could pick someone who's already in it, I would have picked Barry Coe, who plays in the played Droog in the.
He's like 40.
He's not 40. He's like 25.
Whatever. He looks.
He's in the Banshees of Inisherin. He's great. He plays a Joker in the Batman movie. Irish, and he's Irish. Oh, and I need someone who's Scottish. God damn it.
Scottish. All right. Well, I'm gonna pick Banshee.
You pick yours while I'm thinking of mine.
I'm gonna pick Colin Farrell to play Banshee.
Actually, that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
Well, he'd have to wear a redheaded wig.
Yeah, that's fine. They got lots of wigs in Hollywood.
Do they? They get lots of wigs in Hollywood. They need to throw a wig on him.
I guess I could cast what's his face? Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, he doesn't really have reddish
I like
hair.
Colin Farrell as Banshee though. I like that cast.
Yeah, that's actually not bad. I could get behind that. It'd be kind of strange, but yeah, I could get behind that. I'd be all right with that. I'm having trouble finding a Scottish child actor that I think would fit this role.
So find someone who can do a fake Scottish accent.
That's
Don't
not
worry about it.
Good. We don't want to do that. Let me choose someone here. How old does this kid got to be?
I don't know, like 17, 20. I don't know. They say he's a young man. He's not young.
Jesus. Oh, you know who would be a better Banshee? Look, Tony. Do you watch Doctor Who?
No.
Look this guy up. Tony Curran. Curran. He's got reddish hair. He's in a lot of Canadian productions. He played Van Gogh in Doctor Who when they did the episode where they visited him back in the past and took him to the future and showed him how much people like his artwork.
I've seen him in stuff.
Yeah, he's Scottish
he would
too.
Be a better Banshee.
He's very good Banshee.
But Banshee's Irish.
Oh, right. I was looking at Scott. I'm sure he could pull off a Scottish accent.
He does look like a Banshee, though. I like that casting better. All right, we'll go with that.
You go with that? Okay.
Come on, cast us a Proteus. Proteus.
A kid with a mean streak. That's got to be like kind of evil. Someone that's been showing up in some movies lately. Let me think briefly. Little kid. Well, what's his face? Yeah, no, 100%. Jacob Tremblay. The little kid from he was in The Predator recently. He was in that movie Room with Alison Brie. He's in Dr. Sleep very briefly. They did an episode of the new Twilight Zone, the one that Jordan Peele did, which was kind of a takeoff off that old Twilight Zone episode where
Bill Mumi one.
The one where the kid could control the So they did a new one where it's like a kid gets elected president. It's sort of a
How old is he though? He's got to be like pretty much 20.
No, he's like
15.
15. He's like 15, I think.
Yeah, it's close enough.
He was quite young in as long as he can pull off a Scottish accent. But I would guess he'd be about 14, 15.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, so he's a good little actor. He's actually pretty fantastic in everything he's in. And that movie Wonder, he was the kid in that. He does a lot of voices anyway. But he's good actor. And I think he'd be good in this role. In that role, he plays like a kid who gets elected president. It's kind of a political goof thing that actually works out. But then you realize how sort of troubling that conceit would be. And it kind of goes to his head and he starts, making everyone do what he wants them to. And he throwing temper tantrums and stuff. I think it would kind of work. So
all I need now is for you to contact your students, Professor.
Also, he's Canadian, so
there we go. Never guessed with a name like Tremblay.
Well, isn't that what Julian's last name is? And the guy plays him on Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah.
He was born in 2006. So that would make him 18? No, that's not right. 17. He'd be 17.
Perfect. Still.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Your homework from me is to go watch. Before I talk about things relevant to this thing, go watch The Last of Us if you like good television. Jen and I kind of power watched it the last few days, and it's very, very good. Have you seen it, Davan? All right. Well, it's if you like your zombie stuff with a bit of a twist on it. If you like the video game, which I haven't played yet. Different take on the zombie genre. Great guest stars. A lot of really cool character actors show up. Nick Offerman's in a whole episode, which is great. That episode is really ballsy. I'd like to talk about it after you watch it. But yeah, really good show. I mean, Pedro Pascal is a great actor, and he plays a sort of jaded, battle-hardened dude trying to survive in the apocalypse who's sort of tasked to carry another magical child on a journey.
Called The Mandalorian.
Very similar concept, but much darker edge to it. And it's full of, heartbreaking character drama, loss, and interesting things about the general stuff that comes with zombie movies, where it's the people or the monsters and not really the monsters. But they do it in such a good way that it's compelling. It's good TV. It's very, very well done. But your actual homework is to watch the next episode of X-Men the Animated Series, Season 4, Episode 13, Family Ties.
Featuring your favorite character. Are you excited?
One of my favorite villains, the High Evolutionary, makes an appearance.
No, I meant Quicksilver.
Oh, yes. Well, he is he's my favorite X-Man. Do I say favorite X-Man? Yeah, I think I have. Favorite Avenger for sure. But yeah, we get Quicksilver, we get the Scarlet Witch, we get Magneto, we get, I think, finally accepting the they're Magneto's kids. We get the new men, the High Evolutionary. We get Wolverine transforming into a werewolf, which is always fun. So tune in, go watch that episode, and get a little bit of a character backstory on the High Evolutionary, as he will be featured prominently in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I believe is the next Marvel movie on the docket.
I do believe so. You can support the show here at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show.
Wyndham Price, is that his real name?
No, Herbert Wyndham.
Herbert Wyndham, that's it.
Contact us at xmenreviewshow@gmail.com. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. And please like, review, or even subscribe, and hear us again. And we are a proud member of the United Federation of Podcasts.
We sure are.
Andre.
A new episode just dropped this past Friday, in which I spoke with Robert Maillet, former WWE wrestler known as Kurgan in the Oddities. Went on to have a career in film, most recognizable as the giant French guy that Robert Downey Jr. fights in Sherlock Holmes, also the uber immortal that fights Leonidas in 300. He was the the German Jaeger pilot or the Russian Jaeger pilot in Pacific Rim. He played the master on The Strain, the other Guillermo del Toro project. A lot of cool stuff. He's in Deadpool 2. He was Sluggo in jail with Omega Red there. Cool actor, really big guy, really kind, affable sort of dude. Not the guy you'd expect from a man of his stature, but great guy, really cool conversation. And yeah, it was really fun talking to him. Don't have my next guest lined up yet. Working on that. Hopefully have it for you soon. But that'll be not this Friday, but next Friday.
All right. So
getting close to my 100th episode.
Ooh, gonna have a big celebration.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do for that. But
we turn the cameras back on you.
Actually, that would be interesting. You have someone interview me, I guess. Never even thought of that. That's not a bad idea.
Well, I'm an ideas guy. Also, check out Hold Up a Movie podcast. Andre's been checking it out.
I've been. I'm halfway through. You're the one with what one am I on? Jesus, I can't even remember. Anyway,
this one is on the internet, featuring hackers, the net, and Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo is internet related?
Apparently.
Murphy picked that, didn't he?
Of course.
Does he just go on the internet and look up movies about the internet and then just grab whatever one he hasn't seen before?
I think somebody told him this was an internet movie.
Well, I mean, all right. Never mind. You know what would be like? Okay, you know what's a really good internet movie? And when I would
Social Network?
No. I mean, that's a Facebook movie. It's not really an internet movie. But like both of your movies are sort of like when people didn't really know what the first two, Hackers and the Net,
both came out in the same year.
Yeah, and they're both sort of before people really knew what the internet was, and like just thought, well, people could probably do this, so we're gonna make movies about it without actually knowing how much of that.
It was great. Happen. It was a magical time.
It was a lot of mystery around the internet. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movies about like stuff going on the internet. One movie that I would have suggested that's kind of interesting would have been Unfriended, which is a horror movie that all takes place on like Zoom, which is actually pretty interesting.
I heard that it was terrible.
No, the first one's actually pretty good. But I think my favorite thing that depicts how messed up the internet could be is the documentary. Actually, do you accept documentary entries in your film watching? You don't accept documentaries?
It's a whole nother kettle of fish.
Well, there's a movie called Feels Good Man about the guy that created the Pepe the Frog comic strip and how that got co-opted by the alt-right into a symbol for them, and what happened to his creation, and when the internet takes it away from you, you don't control it anymore. It's probably one of the best modern day movies about what the internet's capable of and how horrifying it can be. But the thing I would suggest would be an episode of Black Mirror, which in a way is kind of a mini movie in itself, called Dance Monkey.
I think I saw that one.
The one with the kid that was the videotape of him masturbating, and then he's trying to stop it from getting out, and someone's blackmailing him. He has to go do all this crazy stuff. It's a really, really good and quite a twist sort of episode, and sums it up quite well. But yeah, I mean, for movies about the internet, I'd say you got a decent hang on it there. Guns Akimbo, I'm not sure how that fits in there. Probably just because he gets his directions from the internet. But aside from that, that's fun.
Apparently, it's all on the internet. Like the only reason his whole adventure is just so people can see it on the internet.
Wouldn't the Matrix fit in that role in that episode?
Everyone's seen that movie.
Yeah.
Super Mater Brothers podcast. Check them out as well. They're doing their Big Brother Survivor reviews. Also, KBBBL podcast. The extra B is for BYOBB.
Well, hey, did you notice that you guys did the episode a while back about the bowling instructor and how that character just showed up again in a new episode of The Simpsons, like the newest one?
We don't acknowledge new episodes of The Simpsons.
Oh, come on. You can't ignore new stuff. What are you going to stop your show at season 22?
No, like season 10. It's horrible after that.
Oh, well, listen, you can't do a Jesus. All right.
Yeah, man, the whole point of this podcast is we're going to watch it until it gets bad. And maybe it makes it to season 13 at
There's still decent things in the new episodes. It's not as consistent
No,
as
there's
they
not.
used to be.
It's soulless.
You can't say that you don't watch
You
it.
might as well watch Family Guy. It's soulless. It's not funny. These old episodes of The Simpsons just show you how much heart it used to have. Like, it was just a beautiful show. It was hilarious, but it also had heart and character. It doesn't have any of that anymore. It's all just parodies of themselves. And there's an episode that breaks The Simpsons where they make Homer a parody of himself, and then it just sticks. So whenever we get to that episode is probably when the podcast ends. And also on Super Mario Brothers, we got the Mary Made of Marvel Society. We'll have when Guardians 3 comes out, we'll have a review for that. And Secret Invasion's also coming out. And a Trivial Debates featuring Andre.
Oh, yeah, I'm not
WrestleMania goes Hollywood.
I'm not coming.
Oh, you're not making it? Does anybody know
I'm
that?
kidding. I'll be there.
Yeah, he'll be 2 hours late.
Well, I might be if you're going to say things like that. If I can
not
never,
gonna
if
do
I
that.
can
Don't worry
never,
about what I
if I
say.
can never overcome the mistakes of the past, then why should I even bother trying, Davan? Why don't I just fill the role that you've built for me in your head and not try to extend beyond that?
Technically, you were 2 hours late tonight, too.
I told you earlier in the day about this.
That's
You're the
true.
one who
It's
wanted
not
to keep pushing it
technically late.
back. You didn't cancel it, which is fine.
No, we can't cancel now. We've got a limited amount of time before the new series comes out, and a lot of special interviews and stuff to sneak in.
Well, it's going to be tough because things are coming up that's going to require my time away from here. But there'll be late episodes, I guess.
God, more important than the X-Goons?
Nothing's more important than the X-Goons, but
I didn't think so.
Until I start making a lot of money off this show, I do have to go do work to make money to pay for my house.
Also, the Hellbound Planet, and he has a tag team belt to defend.
That's right.
Yeah. Defends it against me and my tag team partner.
Who's that?
Jaemeel.
Jaemeel? You and Jaemeel are going to... I'll wrestle you by myself, and I think I'll still be all right.
You don't know our finishing move.
What is it?
Andre Killer.
That sounds made up on the spot. Like you didn't put any thought into it.
Check out the Hellbound podcast. Speaking of things that they don't.
Well,
no, just kidding. It's a horror movie podcast, and they do interviews and stuff too. They recently did one on. They talked about Cronenberg.
Cronenberg. I like me some Cronenberg.
Yeah. I like some Cronenberg.
No,
definitely not all.
Oh, you're crazy. All Cronenberg is good Cronenberg.
Nah. Live Long and Podcast. Check out it as well for all your Star Trek fixes. We got so many. They're going with Deep Space Nine at 9 over there right now, probably. We kind of had 2 shows going at once here in the network tonight. Let's check out Locutors of Trek. We'll have an episode on the legacy of Star Trek coming out soon. That will end our first season over there on Locutors of Trek. But also on the Live Long and Podcast, we've got, like I say, Deep Space Nine, Picard reviews, Enterprise reviews. We got a Debate 9 coming up, all ladies debate. So probably good points and less, head smashing against each other. And also there's Star Trek Radio Theater and stuff like that over in the. Sometimes we play video games and stuff over.
That sounds fun.
Ops division. Yeah, well, we play Star Trek Online sometimes. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's here in the network. Let's go to sleep.
Say no more.
All right. Catch you next time, everybody.
X time.
That's more like it.